Hey everybody, so I am going to be making the chicken soup that I made last week. I have a couple friends who are very sick, and I reached out and offered to cook for their families, and they have taken me up on that. So I am going to be making that hearty chicken soup that I made for the snow last week because it was super good, super nutritious, and it's warm, and we're having that Arctic blast right now. So I think it's just going to be really good for, the families to eat. So I am going to do this really quick because we are actually supposed to get some more snow. We've been upgraded. So we are now between 0 inches or a dusting and 3 inches. They don't know what it's going to do. So in North Carolina, that means it could be bright and sunny, or it could dump on us. We don't know. So we're just going to guess. Anyway, it's supposed to start soon. So I want to get these soups put together and delivered to my friends. So I'm going to put this together really quick, but I wanted to take the time and show you a little bit more in detail because I just kind of posted some clips with the weekly meal review. So I thought I would take a minute and actually kind of go through what I do. So let's get started. All right, so because I am doing this super quick and my celery is getting a little old here, it's fine. It's just a little bit beat up from being in the refrigerator. I am going to dice this. Actually, you know what? I will put this in my little chopper here, and this is going to make this prep go super fast. And it'll keep all my veggies super even. And I know that may be a little bit loud on y'all. So I'm waiting on my carrots for the pantry challenge. This is my last. So I may go get some more just because I had not intended to do this. Probably do a few more. Yeah, I think I'm going to run out of carrots before I do everybody's, because I'm going to do us some as well, and another family. So I'm going to run out of carrots. So I may have to cheat on my pantry challenge just a little bit, but for the sake of sick friends, I think that is permissible. All right, here we go. Hold your ears. Okay. So now we're going to do some onion. And normally I, for a video, would probably take the time to go through and, chop this so it's not as loud using this thing. But since I'm in a hurry, this is just the easiest way for me to get through this. All right, so I think that looks pretty good as far as vegetables go. So we're gonna come over here. Okay, so I have a couple of tablespoons. Well, it's about 1 tablespoon, or yeah, of olive oil in my pan. We'll go ahead and dump all of these veggies in there. And then I have water heating over here, and I'm going to put some noodles. And I'm actually running low on noodles right now. So I've got some holiday noodles that I had bought at Aldi. And these are Halloween. And my friend is really into Halloween and all things spooky. She keeps that kind of decor up all year, so I figured she would appreciate these. So we're going to use these. I have the crock pot with the broth where I cooked a whole chicken, and I went ahead and put the chicken here and split it open, so you see how it's steamed, so it can be cooling off just enough that I can kind of get in there and get that meat off. So this has been cooking all day, and I've actually been doing 2 of them so that I have enough for 3 meals. But this is cooling enough for me to handle it. I've got broth there, which I may mix some of that with my bone broth just to get a denser nutrition. And then we're going to add veggies and noodles and mix it all in a pot with some butter. My friend does not want the cream added. I normally use half and half or heavy whipping cream or, you know, vitamin D milk if you don't have that, to kind of finish off the soup, make it a kind of a rich, thick broth. But she does not want the milk in it, so we're just going to do a more simple broth for her. Okay, these are starting to look really good, so I'm just going to go through and add some seasonings straight into here. And this is kind of different every single time. I make this the same way, and I usually use the same ingredients, but my quantities may be different, or my spices, I may use more of something one time, less of something the next time. But my typical is I either add fresh garlic or canned minced garlic in here, but I am doing garlic powder. I did some parsley, salt, pepper, and I think that's it, actually, because it already has the onion, the carrot, and the celery in it, so I don't need to add any celery salt, celery seed, onion powder, or any of that. So at this point, I'm waiting for the noodles to boil, and I've got to debone that chicken. So I have turned this off, and I'm just going to let it sit here and continue to soften a little bit. Give my noodles a quick stir. They're starting to look good. Let's go debone some chicken. Okay. Don't know if I will actually need my cutting board. Yes, I will. Ooh, hot, 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 hot. Ooh, these bones are hot, y'all. And I will actually put these back in the crock pot and make some more bone broth. So I'm not worried about using some of my stock of bone broth for this. Even though I have broth in the crock pot now from where I cooked this, I just like that richer flavor you get with the bone broth because it just gives it such good color and that long cooking. So I want to add some of that to this. So now I've got one breast and one thigh. So we've got a mix of dark and light. And I'm probably going to go ahead and put a little more. This is technically the thigh, but look how white that meat is. That's beautiful. All right, and I'll save the rest. Oh, here's a leg. For the next batch. All right. So that's a nice meaty portion there though. It's about a quarter of the way full of just chicken. All right, so now I'll open up some of my turkey stock. I'm just going to pour this right in here. And I always just siphon it just to get some of the little bits. And then I'm going to add some of the broth straight from the crock. So we have a nice, now we're half full. All right, so now we've got this on the stove. I want to add some butter. And that's just to make this broth super rich and creamy. I got a Dotson under my feet here. So we're going to heat this up until that butter melts, which won't be long. And we can actually go ahead and add our veggies in. And get those seasonings to start to mix. Now I have zip ties on this so that when I take it in the car and to her and put it on the porch, the lid stays on. So that is why it is zip tied. Now while I'm waiting for the butter to melt in the soup, I'm going to get the bread ready. So I made a loaf of bread in the bread machine. So it was doing the work for me. And the crock pot was doing the work for me while I was getting other things done. So you just have to make sure you get this paddle out when you're giving it to somebody. You don't want to send that to them. I love fresh bread. Okay, so normally at this point, we would add our cream, but since we're not putting that in hers, we're going to add our noodles. I knew that was going to happen. They stuck together. And then we're going to make sure it's all stirred up. All right. So here is the soup. And at this point, because I have not seasoned anything but the vegetables, I'm going to start seasoning again, same seasonings. Now, me personally, if I were going to eat this without the cream, I would probably put in some like spinach and let it wilt down, almost like a, what is it, zuppa toscana, or a cabbage. Green peppers would be good in this too. But that is a nice hearty soup for someone who is sick. So I will make this again tonight and add cream, and I will try to remember to film the end part where I'm putting in the cream so you can see the difference. Okay, so we are back from delivering soup to my friend, and I have taken the other half of the chicken and done the literal exact same thing, including using a jar of my bone broth and the rest of the broth that was in the crock pot. So we are right back to where we were. I have added all the seasonings and noodles. So this is exactly what we took to her. So now I have let it simmer together for a few minutes, and we are going to add in the cream. So here we are. We're just going to use some half and half. Okay. Here we go. And what I'm looking for is just to lighten this up. All right, I think that's good. And I'm just going to let it simmer here for just a few minutes. But I really like that color now. So it's more of a stew This is kind of a cross between a stew and a soup. This, if you don't add the cream, to me it's more of a soup. But when you do this, it's kind of it thickens it a little bit and gives it kind of that stew quality. Because I do have a chicken stew recipe that is way different from the chicken soup recipe. And then this is kind of a mix between the two. So next fall, I'll do the chicken stew. I don't typically do that except in the fall. I do chicken stew and chili in the fall. I don't know why, but there we are. Okay, so thank you for joining me in my kitchen while I made chicken soup for my friends. I will be delivering another pot to another friend in the morning, which is why I did the 2 whole chickens. And then I should have enough chicken left over for Sunday's dinner, which will probably be chicken and dumplings. We haven't had that in a while. So that will be on next week's meal plan though, since today is Friday. So I am gonna get this served up to the kids and probably watch a movie, and then we will see you on the next video. Again, thanks, and I hope this was helpful. And let me know in the comments if you try this recipe or if it's similar to what you do for chicken soup. I would love to hear your thoughts. Talk to you soon. Bye.